BFreeCBD.com joins forces with Championship Wrestling to bring you the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast. And here's your host, Dustin Starr, featuring special guest,
BFree CBD,
founder of BFree CBD, Daryl Bird. Here we go!
Body aches gone, leg pain gone, back pain gone, relaxation on.
Oh yeah! Welcome to the very first episode of the all-new Championship Wrestling podcast presented by our friends at BFree CBD. Be sure to check them out and learn everything you need to know about the benefits of CBD oils. That's the letter B, freecbd.com. I am your host, Dustin Starr. Hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Join the conversation. Follow us at CW30 Wrestling, and I'm at Dustin Starr. And of course, show some love and send a follow over to at BFreeCBD. We're here to talk Championship Wrestling, presented by Pro Shingle, everything Memphis wrestling related, and what better week to start than Milestone Week.
The Championship Wrestling Rewind is brought to you by BFree CBD.
Up first, man, let's take you back to Friday night. Big shout out to everybody who joined us at Tin Roof Memphis for our official SmackDown pre-party. Shout out to Jock and the staff out there, man. It was so much fun. Very, very cool. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Of course, we'll be back. Tin Roof is so close. Just a very quick walk to FedEx Forum for SmackDown Live, where it was pretty cool to see Daniel Bryan and the return of the Yes Movement. And many of you know that the Yes Movement started right there at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. And also just being around the atmosphere and everything, it reminded me a lot of my old buddy Brian Christopher. So just being around WWE, FedEx Forum, Tin Roof, the whole nine yards, that atmosphere, and driving by those big trucks. I remember when I was first getting my opportunities with WWE, I asked Brian, because we traveled a lot and worked a lot together, I asked Brian if he had any advice. And one of the words of wisdom was, find the big trucks. We didn't have GPS back then or smartphones or anything like that. You used a map. So he said, all you had to do is get close, find the big trucks, and you're there. So that actually helped out a lot. Then if we look back to Saturday, it was Milestone Part 1. It's coverage of our 3-week blockbuster event. It's every single year. Championship Wrestling brings you Milestone. It was headlined by R3, the monstrous Arizona State champion, who someone on Twitter said it reminds him of One-Man Gang. And I can totally see it. R3 defended successfully against the man who never lost the Arizona State Championship, EJ Sparks. He looked fantastic, not only physically, but just moving in the ring and working with the big guy. It was a very, very good match. And of course, you had the 6-man PP3 showcase. Typically, it's an 8-man tag team match to get you ready for PP3. But Ryan Kidd was out with injury. He will actually be back for the tournament, though. And of course, Ray Rosas was more than happy to not step in the ring and compete. And you guys know how I feel about Ray Rosas. But also, another little controversial story there is what happened to Danny Limelight. So Jordan Clearwater, he fills in. Andy Brown just walked away. Very surprising after the year that he had. But then we're going to move on. Howdy Price. He was looking to finish his former ranchero off for good. But not so fast, because Bad Dude Tito made his return to Championship Wrestling. And you know what? I stand corrected. I said last Saturday that Che didn't have any friends, but he has at least one. And it's one heck of a friend, because now they're known as the Wolf Zaddies. And boy, did they put the Classic Connection and Howdy Price in their place. I can't wait for Milestone Part 2. But first, before we look at Milestone Part 2, let's hear from my buddy Daryl Bird.
Hi, I'm Daryl Bird, founder of BFree CBD. The reason I created BFree CBD was because my mother was in pain every single day. I helped her, and I can help you too. Save 20% right now at BFreeCBD.com. That's B, just the letter B, BFree CBD.com.
The Championship Wrestling Lookout is brought to you by BFree CBD.
This week, there's a ton of stuff to look out for, and it all starts on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Tune in to Grind City Wrestling. There will be a special exclusive interview with Cody and Brandy Rhodes, the Executive Vice President and the Chief Brand Officer of AEW. They both will join us in studio for an exclusive interview just one day before they pay tribute to the legends of Memphis wrestling. And also Cody is tag teaming with his brother Dustin against the Lucha Brothers and so much more. Then on Wednesday, that's what I'm talking about, join us for AEW's pre-party at Three Guys Pizza Pies in South Haven. You never know who might show up. Marco Stunt's family has told me that they might be there. Superstar Bill Dundee told me that he wants to be in the house. And of course, Derek King, a slew of others, they're going to be on hand for the AEW pre-party along with myself and my Maria. Then next Saturday, it's Milestone Part 2, and it's headlined by Royce Isaacs defending his United TV title in a sanctioned match against Adrian Quest. And we all know that Quest defeated Royce Isaacs after he made short work of Jamie Iovine, only to have that championship victory relinquished because Nico Marquez did not sanction the match. And due to that, we reached out to Adrian Quest for a comment. Adrian?
Royce, next week, it's your ass.
Also, next week, it's going to be the Championship Wrestling debut for the Question Mark, all the way from Monrovia and the NWA. Question Mark will be on Milestone Part 2, squaring off against fan favorite Gentleman Jervis. I can't wait. That is taking place on Saturday, Milestone Part 2 at noon on CW30 Memphis and on YouTube Premiere. Plus, that same episode, we do say it's the fastest hour in pro wrestling because myself and my Maria, we are going to interview right there on set of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. It's going to be Cody and Brandy joining us, and we can't wait. And that's what you need to look out for this week for Championship Wrestling and in Memphis.
It's time for this week's mailbag. Mailbag, mailbag.
Every week, I'll try my best to answer your questions and give those shout outs. And this week, some very good questions to start off the premiere episode of the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. You can shoot us your questions about BFree CBD or about professional wrestling. Send those at the letter B, Free CBD, or at CW30 Wrestling. And of course, I'm at Dustin Starr. The first question is my favorite Memphis wrestling moment. And you didn't specify if this was storyline or if it was a match or anything like that. So I'm going to give you my favorite Memphis wrestling moment as a kid, as a fan, just walking through Mid-South Coliseum with my family on the concourse. I remember it was Jerry the King Lawler versus Superstar Bill Dundee, one-on-one that night. And I had a Jerry the King Lawler t-shirt on that hung down to the bottom of my feet. It must have been one of my parents' t-shirts. And of course, we ran into Bill Dundee. And he just looks at me and I'm excited. And then he says, "Boy, where the hell did you get that t-shirt from?" And I realized I went to say hello to Bill Dundee with a Jerry Lawler t-shirt on. I could have dug a hole right there and buried myself. But I was probably 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that. Also, a good question came in about who I think is the rising star of Championship Wrestling presented by Pro Shingle. And funny enough, Dave Marquez last week on Twitter gave a shout out to Chris Bay, who won half of Double Platinum, multi-time United Tag Team Champion. And Chris Bay is collecting championship gold all across California. And I expect to see him doing big things very, very soon. So shout out to Chris Bay. Also, man, I really like Jordan Clearwater. I mean, the guy's in shape. He's tall. You can't teach height. And man, he's very, very good in the ring. So I'd be on the lookout for Jordan Clearwater as well. And I know I'm going to leave some people out, but man, I can't say enough good things about Ryan Taylor. Just the size and strength of the guy. I just cannot believe that nobody's gobbled him up and signed him to an exclusive contract just yet. But that's all cool because I love him being one half of the United Tag Team Champions on our television show, Championship Wrestling, presented by Pro Shingle. So shout out to those guys. If you asked me that question on any day, I'd probably give you different answers because there's so many guys that are impressive out there. But there were several more really good questions that came out this week that I will answer next week right here on the podcast. And like I said before, if you want me to answer your question about Memphis wrestling or championship wrestling or anything in between, send it to the mailbag at CW30 Wrestling or at Dustin Starr.
Thanks for listening to the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFreeCBD.com.
BFree CBD, pain on.
That does it for the very first episode of Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to support our partners at BFreeCBD.com. That's the letter B, freecbd.com. I know we're going to have plenty to talk about next week, plus highlights from our interview with Cody and Brandy, Milestone 2 review, AEW pre-parties on Wednesday. We'll see you at Three Guys Pizza Pies from 5 to 7. Then we're heading over to Lander Center to check out the tribute to the legends of Memphis wrestling. I can't wait. We're going to do that next week and so much more right here on the Championship Wrestling Podcast presented by BFree CBD. I am Dustin Starr saying so long, everybody.
Karate.